The recording has started.
All right, you guys, we're going ahead and get started. I'd like to say Shabbat Shalom. All praises to the Most High Ahaya for another day to come in fellowship in His name. Hope everybody's having a I-Rob Tawab. Okay. So tonight's lesson, we're going to get into some information. Tonight's lesson will be called Preparing for the Last Days. Tonight's lesson will be called Preparing for the Last Days. And the reason why we'll go into this just to piggyback off of Wednesday's lesson when we talked about commitment, making your commitment to Ahaya. So now today we'll talk about preparing for the last days, getting yourselves ready. All right. We have a good attendance tonight. We have a lot of people on, so we won't waste no time. We're going to need all the time that we can get through these precepts to make sure they make sense to everybody. And at the end, of course, we'll always open it up for questions or anything like that. All right. So with that in mind, we'll go ahead and get started. Let's go to Proverbs 16:1. So tonight's lesson will be called Preparing for the Last Days, getting ourselves ready. Whether you believe it or not, we are in the last days. Okay? I know a lot of people don't want to believe that's true, or a lot of people don't want to believe that's right. But according to prophecy, we are there. All right. So if we're in the last days, we got to prepare our spirits. We got to get ourselves out of the flesh as much as possible, which I know is easier said than done. But if you want to make it to the kingdom of Ahaya and get to salvation, you have to start preparing your spirit and finding a way to get away from that flesh. All right, go ahead.
We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 1. And it reads, the preparations of the heart in man and the answer of the tongue is from the Most High.
So the first precept we start off with tonight says the preparation of the heart of man in man and the answer of the tongue is from Ahaya. What does that mean? That means that a man can do his utmost. He can do all he wants in planning. And his wisest plan, he can sit there and plan the best plan ever. But it can come to nothing if Ahaya is not guiding his tongue. So if you're going to sit there and take your time and plan something, you better make sure Ahaya is guiding you in that planning. Don't you sit there and plan something and think you're wise and put all your all into it, and if Ahaya don't have anything to do with that plan is nothing. All right. Let's go to James 1:16. So we went to that first precept. That way, in these days, when you start planning and prepping yourself, no matter what it's for. A lot of people believe in fleeing America, which we do. So if you're going to get out of America, if you're going to flee America, you have to plan. You have to prep. But it has to be through the tongue and the guidance of Ahaya. You can't just say, well, I'm going to plan and do it on my own, and if Ahaya is not backing you, then you'll never get out of America. And if you do get out of America, you're going to get killed on the first boat leaving. So you have to have him in the works. James 1:16.
We're in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 16. And it reads, do not err, my beloved brother. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning.
So it says every good gift and every perfect gift is from above. And preparation, you guys, is a gift. A lot of people don't know how to prepare. A lot of people don't know how to prep. So that's why we come together as a group, so we can prepare together. We can prep together. Because everybody don't know how to prep and do things on a due diligent level. So that's why it says come together as a group, and then y'all can prep together. Teach each other how to do it. But that's a gift to prep. All right. Great. And it says, and with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. Variableness means inconsistency. Okay? That's what variableness means. It means inconsistency. So it says, every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no inconsistency. Ahai is consistent in everything that he do. All the gifts that he gave us, he's consistent. As long as you let him guide you, it will work. Let's go to Job 11:11. So preparation, remember that preparation is a gift from Ahai. And if you don't know how to prepare, then that's when you come together with the group. And then if you can't come together with the group all the time, then you pray to the Most High and ask if the Spirit will come sit with you to help you learn how to prep. That's the only way we're going to save our souls, you guys, is by prepping your soul while you're living in the flesh. It's the only way you're going to make it. All right, go ahead.
We're in the book of Job, chapter 11, verse 11. And it reads, for he knoweth vain men, he seeth wickedness also. Will he not then consider it? For vain man would be wise, though man be born like a wild ass's colt. If thou prepare thine heart, and stretch out thine hands toward him, if iniquity be in thine hand, put it far away, and let not wickedness dwell in thy tabernacles.
So it says, let not wickedness dwell in the tabernacles. It means in your household. You know, back in the day, Moses and Aaron and those guys lived in tabernacles. Tabernacles are your tents. All right, but today we live in houses. So it says, put away the iniquity. All right, put it away far from you, and let not wickedness dwell in your tabernacles. And it says, and if thou prepare thine heart and stretch out thy hands towards him. So you have to stretch your hands out towards Ahai. Put your hand out and say, guide me today, Ahai. All right, and then that way he can prepare your heart. He can show you how to do it. All right, but you can't do it on your own. Like I tell you guys all the time, when I first came into the truth, one of my prayers to Ahai was, every day I would wake up and ask him just to take my legs from me. That way I don't try to walk on my own 2 feet. Because the moment you try to walk on your own 2 feet and do it yourself, you're going to err. You're going to fail. So we have to wake up every day and turn it over to the Most High and let him guide us in every hour, every second, every minute, and every hour of the day. Proverbs 30:25. So it says, put away all the wickedness. All right, that's the only way you can prepare and be successful. So if you want to prepare and be successful, all the wickedness has to leave. All the evilness from your heart, all the evil doings, all the evil sayings, that's wickedness. Everything has got to be gone. Okay? And then once you get rid of all the wickedness, now he will open up the heart to where your heart can now prepare. Okay? Go ahead.
Read the book of Proverbs, chapter 30, verse 25. And it reads, the ants are a people not strong, yet they prepare their meat in the summer.
So it says the ants are people who are not strong. They're not strong at all. So since the ants are not strong, they prepare their meat in the summer. In the summertime, that's why you see lines and lines of ants carrying food, carrying food, carrying food. And then come the cold seasons, you don't see the ants. You're like, where? The ants just gone? Yeah, they gone because they don't got to come back out, because in the summertime, that's all they did was prepare food and stored it. All summer long, you just see ants going back and forth, carrying food to their holes. And they go store the food to where all fall and all winter long, they don't got to come back up. Because they didn't already prepare themselves. So we have to be like the ant. We have to prepare like them. Go to Proverbs 6:6. We have to prepare like them. Ants are not strong, but they get the job done. So there is no excuses. The ants don't have no excuses. Oh, well, we're not strong people, so we're not strong enough to carry food. No. They take crumb by crumb, piece by piece, and take it to that hole. And they don't touch it. They don't eat it. They go back. So they prepare for the future. They're just not preparing for the next day. Okay? Proverbs 6:6.
In the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 6. And it reads, go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways, and be wise.
So it tells us to consider the ways of an ant. We need to consider the ways of an ant to be wise. Like we just read in Proverbs 30 and 25, the ant are not strong people, but they prepare their meat a season before they have to go in. So they're very prepared. So we have to consider the ways of the ant. We have to do the same thing. We have to prepare for the future. And if you don't prepare for the future, then when that final day comes, that big boom, boom. And if you're not prepared, or the government comes knocking on your door talking about boom, FEMA camp time, mark of the beast time, get this chip. And if you're not prepared, then your spirit is going to be leery because you're going to go into frantic stage. And you're not going to know what to do. And the moment you go into frantic stage, boom, they're going to take you down. But if you prepare yourself, and then come the future time, the big boom happen, boom, then you're looking like, all right, we're already prepared for this. Stay calm, stay patient. We already got a plan for this. And if you already got a plan in place, then your spirit will stay above water because you've already been prepared versus someone that's not prepared and now you go into shock. Break down the word sluggard.
We have sluggard. It is H6102. Sluggard is H6102. And we have all.
All right, let's go to it. Kind of struggling. What you got?
Okay, I got it. Atazal.
And what is Atazal?
We have A-T-A-Z-A-L. Atazal. A-T-A-Z-A-L.
What does it mean?
It says indolent, slothful, sluggard.
So sluggard means slothful, indolent. Break down indolent.
We have indolent, habitually idle or indisposed to labor, lazy, listless, sluggish, indulging in ease applied to persons.
So it says indolent means sluggish, indulgent in ease. Somebody that likes the easy road. Lazy. Alright? So sluggard is someone who's lazy. So in verse 6 it says, go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways. So don't be lazy. You can't be a lazy person if you want to be successful in the future. You have to prepare. So the ants, they're not lazy in the summertime. If the ant is lazy in the summertime, then come the wintertime, the ants will starve off and die. So in the summertime, the ants, they gotta be due diligent. They gotta work hard in order for them to survive in the winter times, in the cold seasons. Verse 7.
We in the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 7. And it reads, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer, and gathereth her food in the harvest.
So it says the ant, they have no guide, no overseer, no ruler, but they still have the wise and the wisdom to provide, prepare their food in the summer for the harvest. Go ahead.
Verse 9. How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that traveleth, and thy want as an armed man.
So a lazy person, which is the sluggard, travels swiftly. They travel swiftly. All right, they do whatever they can to get by. While he slumbers, while he sleeps, poverty is coming upon him, and he don't even realize it because he's taking his time. He's lazy, he's idle, so poverty is coming upon him, drawing near him every step that he takes. Every moment, poverty is drawing among this individual. That's what we just read right there. And then when it finally comes, it falls upon him like an armed man, a man that's armed with weapons, from where he can't escape. There's nothing that he can do because he's asleep. He's taking his time. He's lazy. And then when he does things, he's kind of swift. When he travels, he takes his time. That's what it just read. So poverty is going to come upon him like no other when he least expected. And when it does come, it's going to be like a man armed with weapons to where he can't get out of there. Read it again, verse 9 through 11.
We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 9. And it reads, How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that traveled, and thy want as an armed man.
So don't let this happen to you. All right, it's time to wake up. That's why it asks in verse 9, how long will thou sleep? It's time to wake up and start getting prepared. Prepare yourself for the future. All right, don't be lazy and be swift in everything you do and thinking you're getting by. Trying to make everything easy. That was easy today, man. I made it as easy as possible, man. I got through the day real good. Nah, you should get through every day saying, man, that was a good, long, tough, hard day. I put in all the work. I put 180% into everything I did. You wore yourself out because you're preparing for the future. Not only are you doing today's work, but you're preparing for the future. That way, when poverty comes, you'll be able to escape it because you didn't already prepared yourself. That way, when trouble comes, you'll be prepared to escape trouble. So the lesson learned in these few precepts we just read is learn how to be wise. Consider and be wise like the ant. Okay? So it says, how long will you sleep, O sluggard? Let's go to Romans 13:11. So like I say, it's time to awake out of that sleep. Everybody's in a deep sleep. The whole world is in a deep sleep, and it's time to awake. It's time to awake and do things right. And if you fear the Most High, Ahaya, and if you follow His laws and His commandments, that's all you got to do. But a lot of people don't like to follow the laws and commandments. Why? Because the laws and commandments, they like Mike Tyson body blows. They hurt. When you got to follow the law, you're like, I got to change that. It hurts. So you really got to go through some things, and you really have to want it if you want to be a child of Ahaya. You got to change all your ways, not just some. You got to change every single way and awake out of that deep sleep. Romans 13:11.
We're in the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11, says, And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to wake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe.
So salvation is closer than what a lot of people expect. And it says now it's time to wake out of sleep because this is high time. High time means it's the highest. It's at its highest peak. High time means it's at its highest peak. It's time to get going. You're running out of. It's like a cup, and when the water gets to the top, you can barely move that water because if you move it, water's going to go everywhere. So that's the time. That's the time we're in right now. This world is about to erupt. Everything's about to erupt. The corruptness of the world, the wickedness of the world, it's about to corrupt. And once it gets to that corruptible stage, then that's when Yeshua is coming back. That's when Yeshua is going to say, okay, enough is enough. And if you're not awake out of the sleep, you're going to get drowned in all that water that's going to overflow out of that cup. And you guys don't get caught at the slumber party. All right, everybody still got their sleeping bags, having fun at the slumber party, chilling, sluggish. Don't be that person. Wake up and say, you know what? My time is up here. I got to go. Let's be that person. All right, let's go to Mark 13:35. So that's why I always talk to you guys and I tell you, hey, if you got friends and family members that is not trying to do what you're doing in this truth, and if you got friends and family members that you can't even go, when you go to their house, and if you can't break your Bible out and talk to them about certain things, every time you break your Bible out, they be like, hey, I don't want to hear that today. Then you be like, well, you know what? I'm out of here. It's good seeing you. I know I only been here 5 minutes, but deuces. That's when you get that Chris Brown music going. And be like, I'm out of here. Because the more you waste time with people that's not trying to save their soul, then it's going to keep you asleep and it's going to hold you back. So that's why you got to start getting around people that's trying to do the same thing as you. That way it can keep you on your toes. Iron sharpens iron. So when you're around other people that's trying to be like you and do like you, now it keeps you sharp on your toes. Now it keeps your preparation up and high. All right, go ahead.
We're in the book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 35. And it reads, watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house come.
We don't know when Yeshua is coming. So that's why you got to keep watch out for him. Go ahead.
At eve, or at midnight, or at the cock crowing, or in the morning, lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. And what I say unto you, I say unto all, watch.
It's time to watch. Keep watch out. But the only way we can keep watch out is if we're prepared. But if you're asleep and you're lazy and you're always an idle and you don't got time today. I don't got time today to prepare for the Most High. I don't got time today to do this. And that could be the night that he comes. And you're going to get caught sleeping and you're going to go down. So it tells you, watch ye therefore, because you know not when the master of the house cometh. We don't know when Yeshua is going to come. He can come in the evening, midnight. He can come when the roosters are crowing. Or he can come in the morning. So we have to be prepared at all times. You can't just say, all right, well, I'm going to be prepared during the day when I'm woke, when my eyes are open, when I can see things. No, you got to be prepared when you sleep. How do you prepare yourself when you sleep? You do your due diligence every day to a higher by studying. You do your due diligence every day by prepping yourself. And then that way when you go to sleep, the hedge is built. The hedge is around you and your family. So that way while you sleep, you done enough due diligence and work. That way if he do come while you're asleep, you're protected. But if you're somebody that don't put a higher first, I told you guys this about a month ago. Make a list. Do it on your own. Make a list of everything that you do on a daily basis, everything that you do on a weekly basis, and everything that you do on a monthly basis, and add it up and see where a high is in there. I know we all got to work. I know we all have kids that got sports that we have to take them to. I know we all watch TV and do all that other stuff, but add it up. Add it up and say, all right, I go to work this much out of a month. This is the percentage. I watch TV this much out of a month. This is the percentage of it. I spend time with friends and family this much. This is the percentage of it. And I read my Bible and study this time out of the month. This is the percentage. And if a higher don't have the most percentage out of all of those, then you're doing wrong. Point blank. Work shouldn't be 65% and then a higher is at 20%. That's not a highest fault that you're working. So don't let that be an excuse. A lot of people try to say, well, I got to work and there's nothing I can do about it. Well, yes, it is. I don't care if you work 10 hours out of the day. If you work in overtime, you work 12 hours out of the day, you still have to go home and give a higher a couple of hours. He don't want no excuses. Because come judgment day, he's not going to sit there and allow you to speak and say, well, Haya, I really loved you in my heart, but I just couldn't get around to you. He's not going to accept that. Let's go to Matthew 16:1. So it's upon you. It's upon you to get out of the flesh and start seeking him through the Spirit. Let me say it again. It's upon you to get out of the flesh and start seeking him through the Spirit. He don't care about your flesh. He cares about your spirit. The Spirit is what's going to be judged. Whatever you reap in the Spirit is what you're going to sow in the Spirit. It's not what you reap in the flesh. See, a lot of people think, well, whatever I do in the flesh, that's what I'm going to sow. No. Whatever you reap in the Spirit is what you're going to sow in the flesh. So you better start putting majority of your time in the Spirit, because that's what you're going to get judged off of. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 1. And it reads, the Pharisees also with the Sadducees came, and tempting desired him that he would shew them a sign from heaven.
Who are the Pharisees? So we already broke this down. The Pharisees are your preachers. The preachers that are sitting in the pulpits today are your Pharisees. How do we know that? Break down the Pharisees. Give the breakdown for Pharisees.
We have Pharisees. It is G 5330. G 5330. Pharisees. And it is Pharisaios. spelled P-H-A-R-I-S-A-I-O-S. Again, that is P-H-A-R-I-S-A-I-O-S. Pharisaios, and it is a separatist that is exclusively religious.
Okay, so Pharisees is a separatist. These are the people that are separating people from Ahia exclusively through religious. That's why it says separatist, that is exclusively religious. So these are your people that are bringing in religious religions and breaking people up to where they can now not follow Ahia. Pharisees are the people that are going to schools, all right, and saying that, hey, well, you know, these are your preachers that are going to school and getting preacher's license and talking about how smart they are. I got my preacher's license. You know, I know everything. That's who these Pharisees are. All right. And Josephus says that a lot of people and a lot of your different books tell you that the Pharisees are the people who went to school and got these licenses, and now they think they can preach the word of Ahia when only thing they're doing is separating people from Ahia through all these different religions. Okay, so the Pharisees are your preachers. Read verse 2.
We're in the book of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 2. And it reads, He answered and said unto them, When it is evening, ye say, It will be fair weather, for the sky is red.
So in verse 1 it says the Pharisees asked Yeshua to show them a sign from heaven. This is what the Pharisees is. They asked Yeshua to show them a sign from heaven, and Yeshua answered them and said, what? Read verse 2 again.
Matthew chapter 16, verse 2. He answered and said unto them, When it is evening, ye say, It will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering.
All right. So in verse 2 it says, And Yeshua said to them, when they asked for a sign of heaven, he said unto them, When it is evening, which means it is nightfall, you will say it's fair weather. The sky is clear, for the sky is red. So when the sky is clear, you're going to tell everybody that the sky is red. What is the sky is red? It's red. And then in verse 3, and then when it's morning time, when it's dawn, and it be foul weather, which is a storm. That's what foul weather means. A storm or like a pouring rain. So when it's morning time and it's a storm going on, for the sky is red and lowering, O ye hypocrites, ye can discern that the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? So he says you guys will be lying overall. When it's morning time and it's foul weather, you're going to tell everybody the sky is clear. But when it's evening time and it's fair weather, you're going to tell people it's red sky. So why would I tell you the signs of heaven? I'm not going to give you no signs of heaven, because all you're going to do is lie to people anyway. That's all you guys do. So you preachers, which are the Pharisees, they don't know the times. They don't know the signs of the times. So that's why they're in the pulpit lying and telling people things about their testimony, because they don't know how to prophesy the things of the Bible. They don't know how to get in the pulpit and say, all right, you guys, we're in the last days. These are the signs that we're seeing, and this is what we need to do. They don't know how to get in the pulpit and say that. So that's why they get in the pulpit and tell people how good they look today and stroke their ego so they can keep coming and paying their tithes. And that's not what it's about. We're supposed to be on a weekly basis teaching the people how to save their soul. We're supposed to be teaching the people how to prepare in this evil world. Read verse 3 again.
Matthew chapter 16, verse 3, it says, And in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. And he left them and departed.
So it says these preachers will not get a sign. They're seeking after a sign, but there will be no sign given unto them. So why? Because the preachers are asleep. They're not trying to follow the true words of Ahia. And another thing, they think they know it all. The preachers think they know it all, just like the scientists. The scientists think they know it all. They don't want to be taught. They quick to say they quick to say they know everything. So like when you try to go to a preacher and show him something concerning the Bible, oh, I already know that. I've read the whole Bible 5 times up and back. And you be looking at him like, well, if you read the Bible up and back, why are you still teaching this shenanigans? But they don't want to be taught because they think they know everything. They don't want to listen to you and I. Now that we've been woken up, now that the Spirit has come to you and I and said, all right, now go teach. These people don't want to listen. Go to James 1:18 real fast. But they don't have no signal of when these signs are coming. And the signs are right there in their face, and they don't know how to teach the people what's going on. So that's why when Ahia is talking in Ezekiel, he says, you shepherds, you have let the sheep stray away. The sheep has strayed away because the shepherds are not teaching them correctly. James 1:18.
We in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 18. And it is of his own will begat he us with the word of truth, that we should be a kind of first fruits of his creatures.
So of his own will he begot he us the word of truth. So his own people will have the word of truth. Israel will have the word of truth. So of his own will begot he us the word of the truth. Verse 19.
Verse 19. Wherefore, my beloved brother, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath.
Your preachers, the scientists, they don't do this. You can go tomorrow and talk to a preacher that you know, a friend or a family or uncle, and try to talk to him some truth, and he ain't gonna let you get 3 words out. Because he know it all. And we're supposed to listen. If somebody come to me tomorrow and say, hey man, let me talk to you about the word. All right, I'll be like, okay, let me hear you then. I'll sit there, I'll close my mouth and hear what he got to say. And then once he started tripping himself up and stumbling over certain things, then that's when I'll interject and like, hey, let me show you. Can I show you some things? But the only way you can get an understanding when it comes to the word, and the only way you can get somewhere with somebody, is you have to hear them out first. Just because I know a few things about the Bible, when I get around people, I'm not the first one to speak. If somebody else in the room says, hey, I know some stuff, I'll be like, all right then, well, let's sit down and talk. Show me what you got. And you let them go first. You hear them out first. All right? I'm swift to hear what somebody has to say, and I'm slow to speak. And then I'll start speaking once I realize, hey, that's wrong. Can we stick with the precepts? And then that's when you start taking people back to the precepts. Because a preacher, he ain't going to stick with the precepts. He's going to be speaking a lot of things from his heart. But these guys don't do this because they trust in the wickedness of their heart. And since these preachers are trusting in the wickedness of their heart, they're erring. They sending a lot of people to the pit. Sending a lot of people to error. Isaiah 47:10. And that's why every day you wake up, you should thank Ahia. You should thank Ahia that you've been pulled away from those false lies and those false doctrines. We all have been a part of some type of church congregation at one point in time. And we all were following some type of preacher under his ways and under his beliefs. And we never really knew it because it sounded good. It looked good. You got so many people jumping up and down, so you thought everything was right. But a lot of these people, they trust in their own wickedness and they don't want to hear nothing. That's how you know these preachers are not for real, because if a preacher was for real, you would be able to go to him and say, hey, can I show you something? And he will hear you out. But if a preacher won't even give you a chance, then that means he's not a man of Ahia. Because you got to be swift to hear and slow to speak. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Isaiah, chapter 47, verse 10. And it reads, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it had perverted me. Perverted thee.
Yeah, my fault. I got it in there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside.
So these are your preachers. These are your rich people. These are all your scientists and your rich people, people that rule the world along with your preachers. It says, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. So these people trust in their wickedness and they don't trust in the higher. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Nobody can see me. I'm tough. I know everything. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it had perverted thee. So a lot of these guys, they done went to them. They doctors. But how long doctors got to go to school? 10 years or so? Yeah, they got to go to school 10 plus years. So they think they got knowledge. They think they know it all. Same with scientists. Scientists got to go to school about that long too, right? So these guys go to school. They get their bachelor's, their master's degree. Then they get all these different degrees. And their wisdom and knowledge is perverted. And it don't have nothing to do with the Bible. These people are not smart at all. They smart in their wicked ways. In their wicked ways, they're smart because they brought in this false doctrine through science and through astrology. So then they teach you and I in school, oh, these are the highest paying jobs. And if you want to be smart like them, you got to do this. Man, them people are the dumbest. They are dumb as rocks. Why? Because when you put the King James Bible in front of them, it looks like Hebrew. They like, I don't understand it. Of course, yeah. They are dumb when it comes to this. But yeah, you put all that astrology and signs and all that stuff, and what is it called when people follow? I don't even know no more. You follow the signs and all that. People waking up. Is it astrology? Okay, it is. And waking up every morning and talking about, I want to see what my signs say today. Horoscope? Okay, yeah, horoscopes. I'm going to wake up today and see what my horoscopes say. Following these scientists and these astrologists. It don't have nothing to do with the Bible. Skip down to verse 13.
We in the book of Isaiah, chapter 47, verse 13. It says, thou art weary in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee.
Okay, so Ahia says, thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsel. The counsel that you're receiving is weary. Why? It says because we're following these astrologers and these stargazers. So that's why your counsel is weary. And it said, let now the astrologers, the stargazers, and your monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from the things that shall come upon thee. So now that Ahia is coming, when he sends his son Yeshaya, let these people stand up and protect you now, since this is what people are following. People think these are the smart people of the world. Oh man, scientists, doctors. So when the day of Yeshaya comes, when he's coming down, he said, let these people protect you now. Break down astrologer.
We have astrologers. It is H 1895. Astrologers is H 1895. Then we have Habar. And it is Habar. 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 And it is primitive root, uncertain, perhaps foreign derivation, to be a horoscopist.
Yes. So astrologer, the Hebrew word habar is horoscopist. So there go your horoscopes and all that different things right there through your astrologers. Alright? And then your prognosticators are people who think they know everything. People who give instructions. But these people don't know nothing. There is no counsel in these guys. These guys cannot counsel you when it comes to salvation. They know nothing about prophecy. How do we know that? Let's go to Daniel 5 and 15. That's why in Isaiah 4 and 13 it says, all right, your counsel is weary. And let now your astrologers and your stargazers, these people that y'all follow, your monthly prognosticators, stand up for you in the day of the wrath of Yeshaya. Where they gonna be at? In the day of the wrath of Yeshaya, where are these guys gonna be at? We're gonna talk about where they're gonna be at in a little bit. They're gonna be hiding, running and hiding. Because they know they're perverted. They know they're perverted people. They know they're wicked. They know they're putting a number on these people, teaching people you got to go to school and do all this. Do you understand the purpose of sending people to school and college for all them years? The purpose is to put you in debt. They're making money off of you. Every year you sign up and go to school and get a loan, they're making money off of you. Putting you in a financial debt, financial hole for the rest of your life, to where you're paying them off and they're tacking on interest. And people are striving to be like them in school. Oh, little Johnny, what you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I want to be a scientist. Mike, what about you? Oh, I want to be a doctor. You serious? None of the prophets got a high school diploma. So why are we teaching kids to go to school enslaved for the rest of their lives at school, and then when they get out, they in debt? None of the prophets got a high school diploma. So why are we teaching this? And why are we following it? That's why it's time to wake up out of sleep, the deep sleep. Because we are now in the last days. And in the last days, that doctor's degree, that master's degree, and that bachelor's degree won't do nothing for you. You can't take it with you. The only thing you can take with you when you leave this world is your spirit. And if you ain't focused on that spirit and walked after the ways of a higher and prepared the spirit while using the flesh, you're going to go to the left. All spirits go to hell, right? We know that, right? All spirits go to hell. But if you don't do right, your spirit is going to go to the left, which is called the place of torment. And then the righteous people will go to the right, which is Abraham's bosom. Daniel's 5 and 15.
We in the book of Daniel, chapter 5, verse 15. And it reads, "And now the wise men, the astrologers, have been brought in before me, that they should read this writing, and make known unto me the interpretation thereof. But they could not shew the interpretation of the thing."
So the king brought these astrologers in and asked them to make an interpretation of the vision of this Bible. And he says, when I brought them in and showed them the writings, they could not make known of the interpretations thereof. They couldn't show me anything. So that's why he went and sent people to get Daniel. The king sent people to get Daniel. And when you read the story, he sent people to get Daniel. And they brought Daniel. And he said, hey, I heard you a man of the Most High. And I heard you can show me the interpretations of these visions. You know, I needed you because I already brought these astrologers in and asked them to do so, and they couldn't show me nothing. So that's why I sent them to come get you, Daniel. So you can show us the vision of these interpretations. These guys are false people. They fake. They walking them around the world like they know stuff. But when it was time to break down this vision, they couldn't even break it down for us. So that's why in Isaiah 47:13 it says your counsel is being weary through these guys. They've lied, they've tricked you. They set that net up and had you walk right into that trap. We got to get away from this stuff. All right? So if you're one of them people that's doing everything you can to send your kid to college and all that, no. Send your kid to King James. All right? If you want to go to school, send them to the King James Academy. And that's this Bible. You got many people online nowadays that's teaching this truth. That's where you send them. All right? So, now let's get into the meat and potatoes of the lesson. We're going to talk about a few things. We talked about it last year. So we're talking about the signs, the preparing for the end days. And remember, the Pharisees went to Yeshua and says, can you show us some of the signs of the kingdom of heaven? He says, why am I going to show you hypocrites any type of signs when all you guys do is lie? But he will show the signs and the revelation to who? His people. His true people. He'll show the signs and the revelations to us to where we can understand them. If you're walking in the correct way of Ahia, and if you're doing everything right in the name of Ahia, he will show us the signs. Let's hold on. Let's instead of going there first, let's go to Revelations 1:1 so I can show you what I'm talking about. If you're a true servant of Ahia, and if you're walking in the ways of Ahia and doing everything correctly, he'll show you the signs. That way you won't get left behind. But if you're not prepared in a way to where you know what's going on, then you won't understand the sign. So that's why I'm teaching you guys. That's why I'm showing you. You have to prepare yourself. That way when the sign do come, you'll be like, oh, I've read the scriptures. I'm already disciplined when it comes to seeking the Most High. That's a sign, and we got to be prepared. We got to get on top of our game. But if you're not, signs are going to pass you right by, just like the Pharisees. Revelations 1:1.
Read the book of Revelations, chapter 1, verse 1. And it reads, the revelation of Yeshua Christ, which the Most High gave unto him, to shew unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John.
So it says the revelation of Yeshua, the Messiah, which Ahiah gave unto him. So Ahiah gave Yeshua the revelation. The revelation is through Yeshua. Ahiah gave it to him. And he gave Yeshua the revelation to show unto his servants. Who are the servants? That should be the question when you read this precept. Well, who are the servants? The servants are the children of Israel. And anybody else that follows. See, what you got to understand, the children of Israel are not the only ones that are going to get these signs. The Gentiles will seek the signs also. The Gentiles will get these signs also if they following Ahiah. So don't let nobody sit here and teach you and say, well, only the people that's only going to get the signs are Israel. No, it's not. The Gentiles will seek these signs also if they're following after Ahiah. But it says the revelation which Ahiah gave to Yeshua, the revelation to show unto the servants things which must shortly come to pass, which are the signs. Signs and prophecy which must shortly come to pass. These things must come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. Alright? Read down to verse 3.
We're in the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 2. And it reads, who bear record of the word of the Most High, and of the testimony of Yeshua Christ, and of all things that he saw. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand.
The time is at hand. So blessed is he that readeth, blessed is he that study and read this, and they that hear the words of this prophecy. So the only way you can hear the words of this prophecy is by study, and it's by reading. And keep those things which are written therein. So once you study, you keep them close, for the time is at hand. So the end time is at hand. But revelation is the signs and the prophecy of this Bible. And Yeshua came to show this to the servants. Alright? So if you're a true servant of Ahiah, he's going to show us this. Okay? But you have to be prepared. And you have to do the things correctly. Let's go to Isaiah 11:10 so I can show you that the Gentiles will also seek these signs also. Alright? Don't get duped and let people teach you that, oh, the revelation and the signs and prophecy only comes through Israel. Only Jacob will see the signs. Nah, listen. You have to understand. Just like the woman that ran up to Yeshua and said, my daughter is vexed with the devil. Can you please help her? And Yeshua ignored her. And he ignored her. And then when he finally says, hey, I only come for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And the lady says, hey, I know that. I don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? And when she realized that Yeshua came for them, then he still blessed her. So the same with Gentiles. When the Gentiles, when they wake up to the truth and they realize that Yeshua and Ahiah is coming for Israel first, and then when they realize that, then Ahiah will give them salvation and then open up their vision also. So don't let nobody teach you that the Gentiles will not see these signs also. Verse 10 and 11 of Isaiah 11 and 10.
We're in the book of Isaiah, chapter 11, verse 10. And it reads, and in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious.
So it says, in that day there shall be the root of Jesse, which is the Israelites, Jacob. So the root of them means the remnant of Jesse. In that day, in the last days, there will be a remnant of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek also. and his rest shall be glorious. Let's go ahead and read it. We right here. Read verse 11.
Verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Most High shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people.
The second time. What was the first time that he recovered his people? Is when he sent Moses into Egypt to take the people from under the hands of Pharaoh. That was the first time. Now he says there's going to be a second time where he's going to send a sign to the people to recover the remnant of his people. So this is the time that we in. In the last days, this is the second time that he's going to recover his people, which is going to only be a remnant. It's not going to be as much people as it was the first time with Moses. Go ahead.
We're in the middle of verse 11, and it says, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea.
So all these different islands he just named, in the end days when we flee from America, these are the places we're to go. People say, well, when I leave America, where am I supposed to go? These are the places where we're to go. To the islands of all these people, and this is where he's going to recover the remnant of his people. In the end days, we're to go to these places, and then he's going to give us a sign. All right? And he's going to give us a sign when we go to these islands to where he says, all right, this is where I'm going to recover you from. But you have to be in these places in order to receive the sign. A lot of people don't understand that. You're not going to get the sign from Ahia from America. In a lot of these places, a lot of these churches teaching what is it called, the rapture? As long as you believe in God, and when he comes and destroy the world, he's going to protect you. Man, that sounds so crazy. So that's like all of us right now under this one roof, and we think, oh yeah, the rapture is going to save us. And then if destruction come right now, you telling me everything around us is going to get destroyed and we're going to be the only thing left standing? Or the rapture is going to zoom us up into a safe place to where we're all good? No, that's not going to happen. Okay? But he says these islands are the islands where he's going to recover his people. Verse 12.
We're in the book of Isaiah, chapter 11, verse 12. And the reason he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
So he's going to just gather the outcasts of Israel and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth, which are in these islands that he was just talking about. When he comes to recover the remnant of his people, he's going to recover us from the four corners of the earth and these islands. And how is he going to recover us? What is he going to do? Skip down to verse 15.
We're in the book of Isaiah, chapter 11, verse 15. And the Most High shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea, and with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it in the seven streams, and make men go over dry shod.
So when it's time for us to be recovered and we see that sign, what's going to be one of our signs? He's going to dry up the Egyptian sea, kind of like how he did the Red Sea for Moses and the people. He's going to dry the sea up for us again. And once we see that sea dry up, and if we're in one of those islands that he just spoke of in verse 11, then we just going to walk right on into Jerusalem, right over dry sea. Verse 16.
Verse 16. And there shall be an highway for the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, like as it was to Israel in the day that he camped up out of the land of Egypt.
So it's going to be the same way as it was when they came up out of Egypt. When Moses took the people out of Egypt and he dried up the Red Sea, it's going to be the same way for us the second time. And a lot of people don't even know this is in the Bible because they don't study. And if you don't know this, how are you going to be prepared in the last days when he says, hey, I'm going to recover my people the second time, and this is how I'm going to do it? But if you don't know this is in the Bible, and if you're not prepared, how are you even going to know to be in one of these places in verse 11? You're going to be stuck in America, Babylon, and all his people, the remnant, is going to be in one of these places looking for the sign so we can walk across dry sea to walk right back in the home. That's why you guys, we got to prepare. We have to study, and we got to come together as a group so we can be saved. All right. Okay, let's get to so this year, you guys, we have a blood moon coming up. Everybody know that? We have a blood moon coming up on they say right around April 4th. And remember, last year we had 2 blood moons. April 15th and October 8th. We had 2 blood moons. And then this year there's supposed to be 2 more blood moons. One on April 4th and one on September 28th. Alright? And these blood moons are signs. These are signs for us, just like we're reading here. There's going to be different signs in the last days that's supposed to prepare our spirits to get ready. And when you read the scripts on these blood moons, it's telling you we're in the last days. It's coming. And on April 4th of this year will be the 3rd blood moon within the last year. Let's go to Luke 21 and 24. So I want to bring this up because I'm not going to have time next week to talk about the blood moon when it gets closer to April 4th. Why? Because we got the Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread. We're going to be spending our next few lessons talking about the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So that's why I wanted to kind of hit a couple of precepts tonight on the blood moon so everybody can know what's going on. When the blood moon, when you see the news over the next week or two, getting themselves ready through science and talking about how the scientists got all the blood moons broken down to a science. That's why I broke down the scientists first, the astrologers. They're nothing. They can't break down the prophecy of the Bible. Yeah, they can tell us that a blood moon is coming, but they can't relate it to what the Bible says about it. So that's why we broke them down first. Okay, Luke 21 and 24.
We in the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 24. And it reads, "And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled."
Ain't this what we got going on right now? We're in the last days, and it says, "And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations." Ain't that us? Hasn't Israel been taken down by the edge of the sword and been led captive into all nations? That's how we know we're in the end times. And then this is how you bust a Jewish person in their mouth. When you see a Jewish person, they be like, "Oh yeah, we're the true people." Well, the Bible says in the end time, the true people are going to be led away captive into all nations. They're not going to be sitting in Jerusalem. But right here it says, "And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down by the Gentiles." So it's telling you in the end days, the people that's in Jerusalem are the Gentiles. That's clear as day. "Until the times that the Gentiles be fulfilled." Verse 25.
In Luke 21, chapter 21, verse 25, it says, "And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roar."
So it says there shall be signs, and these signs are going to come from the sun, the moon, the stars, and from the distress of the nations. Don't we see the distress of the nations right now? All these nations are in some type of distress. They're all getting ready for war. Why are all these nations getting ready for war? Why are they preparing? Because there's some type of distress going on through the whole world. Verse 26.
Verse 26. "Men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh."
So it says when you start seeing these type of signs in the world, you need to lift up your head, because redemption is not. It draws close. It's close. When you start seeing these type of signs in the world, redemption is close. Yeshua is close. That's what redemption means. He's coming back to buy you back. Redemption means Yeshua is coming to buy us back out of captivity. Okay? Let's go to Joel 2:30. So we have to understand the different signs that are coming. We just read a key sign here. Luke 21:24 is a key sign. What was the key sign? It says, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword. Who is they? Israel. And shall be led captive into all nations. Where's Israel at today? We're in all nations, under slavery, captive. And Jerusalem, where's Jerusalem? Israel right now, shall be trodden down by the Gentiles, which is the fake Jewish people that are sitting there today, the Amish people. Okay, that's a big sign, you guys. That lets you know we're in those days. And then it says, and the sign shall be through the sun, the moons, and the stars, and the distress of the nations. We got that going on because we're starting to see these signs just over the last year. 3 blood moons. Those are signs, you guys. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 30. And it reads, and I will shew wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and the terrible day of the Most High come.
So it tells you that the moon will be turned into blood before the great and terrible day of Ahia. And the sun shall be turned into darkness. And I think that's coming up soon too. Was it yesterday? A real big eclipse yesterday, wasn't it, like in Europe? Okay, so I knew that was soon too. I don't watch much news no more, but I knew that was right around this time too. So yesterday was the darkening of the sun. A real huge eclipse, right? You can see it all through Europe and everywhere, right?
We couldn't see it here, but yeah.
See, we got to look this up, guys. Look it up. A big eclipse yesterday darkened the sun. And they made a big deal about it. I seen the end of it on my phone. I was watching something. But I don't watch much news. But I remember last year when I was studying all this, they said right around March, you're going to have the sun is going to be darkened. And then you're going to have the third blood moon. So all this stuff is starting to happen right before our eyes. And they said right here in verse 31, before all this is going to happen before the great and terrible day of Ahia. Somebody find that for me. Go ahead, verse 32.
We're in the book of Joel.
Find that eclipse for me.
Chapter 2, verse 32. And it reads, and it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Most High shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Most High has said, and in the remnant whom the Most High shall call.
Ain't the precepts beautiful? So when you read Joel 2:32, you remember when we read Isaiah 11:16 again. When it talked about he was going to destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea. And yeah, read 15-16 again. Look how these precepts coincide. Look how beautiful these precepts are. Read Isaiah 11:15-16 again.
We're in the book of Isaiah, chapter 11, verse 15. It says, and the Most High shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea, and with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it in the 7 streams, and make men go over dry shod. And there shall be an highway for the remnant of his people.
The remnant of his people, that's the key word. Go ahead.
Which shall be left from Assyria, like as it was to Israel in the day that he came up out of the land of Egypt.
Okay, now read Joel 2:32 again.
Book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 32. And the reason it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Most High shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Most High has said, and in the remnant whom the Most High shall call.
Okay, so this is how you know, you guys, in Isaiah 11:11, when it tells us we need to go to those islands and wait for the sign to go back into Jerusalem, because it says right here, And whosoever shall call on the name of Ahiah shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be delivered. As the Most High had said. He said it in Isaiah. In the remnant whom he shall call. Read this article real fast. So it's talking about the eclipse that we were talking about yesterday. March 18, 2015. Read that. Yeah.
It says, Earth during a total eclipse of the sun. It says explanation. What does the Earth...
Expedition. Okay, my fault. Explanation.
It says, what does the Earth look like during a total solar eclipse? It appears dark in the region where people see the eclipse, because that's where the shadow of the moon falls. The shadow spot actually shoots across the Earth at nearly 2,000 kilometers per hour, darkening locations in its path for only a few minutes before moving on.
So it tells you right here that this total eclipse yesterday darkened the locations and the areas that people were able to see it in. It darkened their whole area. And usually when we see an eclipse, you can go outside. Usually when you see an eclipse, you can go outside and it's just a minor eclipse and you can kind of see it, right? This eclipse yesterday darkened the whole area where people were able to see it at. So that's reading what we just... So read Joel 2 and 31 again.
We in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 31. And it reads, the sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and terrible day of the Most High comes.
So that means that terrible day is here. It's on its way, you guys, because we're starting to see these signs. We starting to see these signs. So yesterday the sun was darkened to where whoever was in that area is total darkness. And then we have a third blood moon coming up on April 4th within the last year. And you have these preachers like John Hagee. You know John Hagee, that preacher? He real popular on TV. You got John Hagee and all these other preachers on their lessons and during their sermons saying that the blood moon represents the first day of the Passover. This is what they're teaching people. When you go watch John Hagee and these Pharisees on TV, they're on TV. Oh yeah, the blood moon. Yeah, that's great. That just represents the first day of the Passover. You're like, are you serious, John? You just gonna keep lying to these people so they can keep bringing the money to your pan? So they're telling people that the blood moons are representing the first day of the Passover, and then the one in September is representing the first day of Sukkot. And Sukkot is supposed to be our Feast of Tabernacles. And they're just lying to people. And the Most High is going to punish these fake preachers, these prophecies. Why? Because they have lied long enough. And they know they're lying. These people know they're lying. They know they're deceiving the people through these true signs of Ahiah. All these true signs that are coming, these prophecies, these Pharisees know they're deceiving the people. And that's why in the last days, they're going to try to run and hide because they know Yeshua is coming to get them. Hagee and all these guys are going to be... That's why they building all these underground tunnels and building all... That's why... What you think they doing in the sea? The Navy. What you think the Navy is down there for? They down there looking and searching for ways and building things down there so they can hide in that great day. Just the same thing they're doing under the tunnels and under the freeways. Under the freeways, they got under the earth, they got massive freeways starting from Colorado going all the way to Atlanta. They got houses being built. They doing all kind of stuff. Let's go to Revelation 6 and 12. All right, why are y'all building houses and building things under the sea? Because they know Ahiah is sending his son Yeshua to take them down. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 12. And it reads, and I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind.
So it tells you, I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal. How many seals are there? There's only 7 seals. But we already know that all the seals don't happen in order. Alright? It wasn't like the first seal happened, then the second seal happened. They don't all happen in order, but it says, I beheld until they opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake. The sun became black as sackcloth, as of hair. That's what we seen yesterday. And the moon became as blood. So that lets you know the 6 seals are being cracked. The stars of heaven fell into the earth. We see that all day long, right? We see that all day long, falling stars just falling down to the earth. Why? Because they're disobeying the higher up there. Just like Satan. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Satan was a star and he kicked him down. Kicked him down and said, get on out of here. So he's still kicking stars down. And what they teach you and I as a kid. Wish upon the fallen star. And you're wishing upon a demon that's being kicked out of heaven. Verse 14.
We're in the book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 14. And it reads, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their place.
So I tell you there's going to be a major earthquake that's going to move all the islands and mountains out of their place. Verse 15.
And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, every bondman, and every freeman, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains.
So these people are going to try to hide themselves in the dens and the rocks of the mountains when this stuff starts happening. Go ahead.
Verse 16, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb.
Who's the Lamb? The Lamb is Yeshua. So they're going to try to run into these caves and hope the cave them in, so Yeshua don't come get them. That's funny. Verse 17.
Verse 17. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand?
Listen, I don't care how many caves fall on you and cave you in. Yeshua is going to make it in there and snatch you right up on out of there. Isaiah 2 and 19. But that's what the kings of the earth and these rich men are going to do. John Hagee, Obama, Bushes. All these guys are going to try to run in that great day and hide in their little homes underground and think they're going to be safe. And Yeshua is just going to come right in and snatch them right out. They know it. They know prophecy. They read the Bible. They not dumb. Let me tell you something. John Hagee and all these guys, T.D. Jakes, they're not dumb. They know what this Bible is saying, but they've been taught through the doctrine of their Pharisee schools, their preacher's license, to dupe the whole world. But they know the real truth, but they just elect to tell us false lies to lead you to the pit. Because they know they're already going to the pit because they accepted the kingdom of the world from who? Satan. The same kingdom that Satan tried to offer Yeshua in Matthew chapter 4. Yeshua didn't take it. Say, Satan, get the hints. I don't need all that stuff. Get the hints. So the same kingdom that Satan offered to Yeshua, he went and offered it to these guys and they took it. So now since they sold to Satan, now they're doing everything they can to lead you to the pit right along with them. They don't care about you. Isaiah 2:19.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 2, verse 19.
So that's why they're trying to cover up the signs that are coming so you don't see these signs. That's why we have to prepare our own selves and our own souls so we can know these signs. Go ahead.
And it reads, and they shall go into the holes of the rock.
Talking about these rich people.
And into the caves of the earth, for fear of the Most High, and for the glory of his majesty, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. In that day a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which they made each one for himself to worship, to the moles and to the bats.
So they're going to cast all these idols that they made Well, gold and silver, all these different idols, they're going to cast them away to be with the moles and the bats. Go ahead.
Verse 21, to go into the cliffs of the rock and into the tops of the ragged rocks for the fear of the Most High and for the glory of his majesty. When he ariseth to shake terribly the earth, seize ye from man, whose bearer is in his nostrils. For wherein is he to be accounted of?
So it says, hey, these people are going to be accounted of. I don't care where y'all go hide. I don't care where y'all run to. You're going to be accounted of all the wicked things you have done. Let's go to Amos 9:2. So the rich people are going to go hide in their holes and their rocks and their cliffs. And then all those idols that they made of gold and silver, they're going to cast them over just to be with the moles and the bats. 9:2 of Amos.
Book of Amos, chapter 9, verse 2, it says, though they dig into hell, this is what they doing. Like I said, they building houses and freeways underneath the earth. Ain't that what they doing? When you go to Colorado right now, they got a whole city under Colorado airport right now. Read it again. When book of Amos chapter 9 verse 2, it says, though they dig into hell, then shall mine hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven.
That's NASA. They climbing into heaven with NASA. All they high tech planes and things that they're shooting themselves up into the sky. And didn't Obama come out about 2 months ago? We had an article saying now it's now time to build in space. It's now to start building in space. Let's go make some homes in space. Talking about Mars is now livable, right? Go ahead.
We in the middle of verse 2, it says, end of verse 2, it says, thence will I bring them down, and though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out thence, and though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them.
So like I say, the Navy, what you think the Navy's been doing all these years? They building down in the sea. So in that great day, they're going to try to go hide down there. They building all kind of things down there. They're going to try to hide in the mountains. They're going to try to hide in the sea. Let's go to Isaiah 27:1. They're going to try to hide in the mountains. They're going to dig into hell. He says, I'm going to find them. And then they're even going to try to hide in the sea. And he says, I want to send the serpent to bite them. Who is the serpent? Let's go to Isaiah 27:1. Let's find out who the serpent is. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Isaiah, chapter 27, verse 1. And it reads, in that day, the Most High, with his sword and great and strong sword, shall punish the Leviathan, the piercing serpent, even Leviathan, that crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea.
So the Leviathan, so the serpent is the Leviathan. And who is the Leviathan? The Leviathan is a dragon, which is Godzilla. That's why they made Godzilla. You see the movie Godzilla all the time? Where do you think they get that from? The Leviathan is the dragon. But before he punished the serpent, he's going to sick the serpent on these people before he punishes the serpent, which is the Leviathan. So when they try to go hide in the sea, he says, thence will I command the serpent that shall bite them. So Ahia says before he punishes the Leviathan, he's going to have the Leviathan, that dragon, which is Godzilla, tear them up when they try to go down there and hide. They're going to be down there trying to hide. And all these movies they done made about Godzilla, they're going to really look up and there go Godzilla, going to be tearing them up. And they'll be like, what? Yes, sir. All right. But like I said earlier, no matter what these guys do and no matter what they teach, we cannot allow them to deceive us of the signs that are starting to show. The signs that Ahia, he's starting to show him. And so the blood moons and the darkening of these suns that we're starting to see, that means it's time to prepare, you guys. I'm serious. When you start seeing these things, now that we're seeing this stuff, that means it's time to prepare. And if you don't want to take the time to prepare, you're not going to make it. That's why we continue to read in these precepts, Isaiah 11-16, Joel, where it says there's only going to be a remnant of his people that's going to make it back to Jerusalem. So if you want to be part of that remnant, you have to prepare yourselves. Everybody's not going to make it. I hate to say that. And they teach in this world that, oh, he loves everybody, and as long as you do this, you're going to be fine. No, it's not true. Let's go to 2nd Esdras 2:1. So pull out the Apocrypha. Go to 2nd Esdras 2:1. So we're going to talk about the remnant for a second. The remnant of the people that he's been speaking of that's going to make it.
We in the book of Ezra. 2nd Esdras, chapter 8, verse 1.
No, second Esdras, and then chapter 8, verse 1. Go ahead.
And it reads, and he answered me, saying, the Most High hath made this world for many, but the world to come for a few.
Read it again.
The Most High hath made this world for many, but the world to come for few.
So it says the Most High had made this world for many. So he made this world for many people. Many people live in this world. But the new world to come only for a few. What's the new world? Which is heaven. Because we all know after Judgment Day, the earth that we live on will become heaven. And that will be the new world. So only a few people are going to make it. That's the remnant that is speaking of. And when you do a number, so when it says the Most High has made the world for many people, but only a few will make it in the new world. When you do 100%, when you do 100% pi, and you take a few out of that, that's not a lot of people. That's very small. It's a very small group of people that's going to make it. So we have to understand, you guys, if you want to be a part of that few, that remnant, you got to get yourself together. Let's go to Micaiah 4 and 5. Micah 4 and 5. So you have to understand, you guys, that the world we live in, friends and family, if you stay attached to them, and the longer you stay attached to them, they're going to pull you back to the other side. You have to start fellowshipping with people that's trying to do what you want to do if you want to be part of this remnant. This remnant, this few people that's going to make it. A few. Man, when you do the numbers on the few, you guys, that's not a lot. I can't stress it. I can't stress it at all. A few ain't even... let me see. Is a few 30%? It's not even 30%, is it? It's not even 10%. A few is a few. It's like when you say few, it's like three. All right. When somebody say a few, that means three. So yeah, it can be 3%. 3% of the world is going to be saved. All right, let's say 10%. That's still not a lot, you guys. So when you start messing around with the numbers on that, it gets really scary. And that's when you start saying, hey, I really got to get my act together. All right, go ahead.
We in the book of Micah, chapter 4, verse 5. And it reads, for all people will walk everyone in the name of his power. And we will walk in the name of the Most High, our power, forever and ever. In that day, saith the Most High, will I assemble her that halted, and I will gather her that is driven out, and her that I have afflicted.
Who is her? Her is speaking of Zion, which is Israel. Go ahead.
Verse 7. And I will make her that halted a remnant, and her that was cast far off a strong nation. And the Most High shall reign over them in Mount Zion from henceforth and even forever.
Let's go to Romans 9 and 26. We're going to kind of rush to these last precepts. We got about 15 minutes left. Okay. So he said he's going to make Israel a strong nation again. That's what verse 7 just read. And her that was cast far off a strong nation. So he's going to make us a strong nation again. Romans 9 and 26. But we reading precepts where it's talking about the remnant. The remnant of his people will he save. The people that's hearkening and preparing themselves right now. People that are preparing themselves right now in the spirit. These are the people that will be saved. You can't just wait until the last days. I done heard too many people say, well, you know what? I'm in my mid-30s right now. I still got time to live it up. I'm going to have fun. And then when I get about the end of my 40s, 50 years old, then I'll change. Then I'll start. And you see so many people do it. They think they got time. So many people think they got time to just live it up and then get ready. No, you need to change right now because we don't know the hour when he's coming or the day. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 26. And it reads, and it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living Most High.
Ain't that where we at right now? Hey, they tell us we ain't they people. We're nothing here. But we are the children of the living power, who is higher. Go ahead.
Verse 27. Isaiah also crieth concerning Israel, though the number of the children of Israel be as the sands of the sea, a remnant shall be saved.
So just because there's a lot of people when it comes to Israel, just because there's many people, there's millions of people that's children of Israel. But just because there's millions of people of Israel sand of the sea, only a remnant of them are going to be saved. So a lot of people think once they wake up, oh, I'm Israel, I'm automatically saved. No. Just because you're Israel and you're from Jacob does not mean you're going to be saved. You still have to walk after the laws and commandments. You still have to fear Ahia. And those are the hardest things right now for anybody to do. Israel or not. Fearing him and following his laws and commandments 100% is the hardest thing for everybody right now. That's why you continue to hear me bust the laws and the commandments over their heads. Because until you start following every single one and start following them 100%, you're not going to make it. You can follow 90% of the laws and the commandments and you leave out that other 10%, you're not going to make it. You're just wasting your time. You have to follow them all, you guys. So stop cheating yourself. Stop playing around. Tonight, think about it. Tomorrow on the Sabbath all day long, make a list and say, what am I doing wrong? Am I following his laws? And if you don't understand his laws and commandments, you can give me a call. Call me and say, hey, Elder, hey, can I get some information on these laws and commandments to make sure I'm following them? Because I don't want to be left behind. I want to be part of that remnant. And I'll take my time and sit down with you and go over. I'll bust all the laws with you over the phone tomorrow if you need that. Just to show you. Matthew 24 and 3. Because that's how important it is to me. As the elder of this group, it's important for me. My job is to have concern about your soul just as much as you. So if you ever need some help in some call, I don't have a problem. It could be 2 o'clock in the morning. Text me and say, Elder, are you up? And you guess what you're going to get? Surely I am. Because it don't matter what time of the day. Hey, you can text me at 5 o'clock in the morning. Elder, are you up? And if I'm not up, and if you got a concern, I'll get right on up to help you with something. That's how it's supposed to be. I would never put you off and say, well, I'm not up right now. I'll call you back in a few hours. If it's something concerning Ahia, I'm on it. I'll stop what I'm doing to take time to give you what you need. Matthew 24 and 3.
We're in the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 3. And it reads, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world.
So the disciples, when Yeshua went to the disciples and said, hey, they're going to kill me off. They're going to take my life, but I'll be coming back. So when he told the disciples that, the disciples said, well, hey, when they kill you, when are you coming back? Can you show us some signs when you're going to come back and when the end of the world will be? So what we're about to read right now, Yeshua said, okay, yeah, I'll tell you. Go ahead.
We're in Matthew chapter 24, verse 4. And the reason Yeshua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you.
That's what we have going on right now. That's one. Through these Pharisees, Hagee, and these scientists, they're deceiving the whole world. Go ahead.
Verse 5. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many.
We have that going on. Alright. They're even making they done got so good with their, what is it called? Holographic things. Is that what it's called? Hologlyphics. To where you can see people like how they done got good with it now. They got Tupac on stage now. They got Biggie Smalls on stage in concert, and they look just like them, right? And when you remember when Obama got elected, CNN had it to where they can, the people that was in Washington, some of the reporters, they can just holograph him right into the studio to where he looked like he was standing on stage in the studio. That's how good they got. Why? Because in these last days, they're going to show a fake holographic Yeshua in the sky coming down to where people are going to get scared and run and think it's really Yeshua, and it's going to be a holographic image to deceive the whole world. So that's why it says, for many shall come in my name saying I am Christ, and they shall deceive many. That's just a part of it, but they're going to do it in so many ways. Verse 6.
Matthew chapter 24, verse 6, it says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
So it tells you World War III is not going to be the end. We see rumors of wars coming, but World War III is not going to be the end just as of yet. But yeah, you see all these rumors coming. Verse 7.
Verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places.
So that's why you see all these nations starting to prepare for battle. Russia against Europe, Russia against United States, United States against everybody. Only people United States is with is the fake Jewish people, which is Israel. Everybody else is against America. So therefore everybody's against each other now because everybody does business with America. So now everybody can't trust each other because they don't know who's still in bed with America. So now kingdom against kingdom, nation against nation. Verse 8.
Verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrow.
We just seen the beginning, you guys. We ain't seen nothing yet. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
We're starting to be hated. Everywhere you go, they looking at you funny, especially when you're wearing your mitri and you got your fringes on. They looking at you real crazy. Don't have no dreads and a long beard. I can only tell y'all how crazy I get looked at everywhere I go all day long. I could be in my truck and people pull up on the side of me and they be staring, and then the moment I look, they be acting like they reading a book. How you reading a book and you driving? For real. They be, listen, I felt you looking at me. They be staring at me so tough with a look. And now that we started the mobile detailing business, me and the brothers, we be going out passing out flyers. People be running from me. Like they see me coming with a flyer, they grab their purse first and run. I'm like, lady, hey, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm fine. But it says, hey, you're going to be hated by all nations, and they shall deliver you up to be afflicted. So they're going to, and that's why we see Judah getting killed off. That's why we're starting to see our people get killed off in every way. They're starting to deliver us and to be afflicted, throwing us in jail for every reason. Verse 10.
Matthew chapter 24, verse 10 says, and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many.
That's all these preachers in these churches. Go ahead. And listen, don't get it wrong. Don't just think that the false prophets are the preachers in churches. You got a lot of people that's Israel that's waking up talking about they Israelites and they're false prophets in line. You got a lot of groups online talking about they're Israel, but then they don't believe in baptism. Oh, they're Israel, but they don't believe that Ahiah had a son and he sent them in the flesh. It's just so many things that I've heard, and I'm like, are you serious? You're deceiving these people. You're talking about you Israel, but then you still lying like the other people? Verse 12. So false prophets can be anybody, you guys. Go ahead.
Verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
So he that endures, so anybody that can endure all this stuff that he just read to the disciples, he that can endure all this stuff until the end shall be saved. Break down the word endure. We got 5 minutes left, if that. Go ahead.
We have endured. It is G5278. Endure is G5278. We have hupomnio, and it is HUPOMENO, hupomnio, and it is to stay under, behind, that is remain, figuratively to undergo, that is bear trials, have fortitude, preserve, patience.
So endure means to remain, to undergo, to be patient. Give the Webster for endure.
We have endured, says, to last, to continue in the same state without perishing, to remain.
So endure means to last, to continue in the same state without giving up, without perishing. That's what endure means. To last to continue in the same state without perishing. So in the end times, you're going to start seeing all this stuff, false prophets, kingdom against kingdom, rumors and rumors of wars, people coming and saying they're Christ, people being deceived. And if you can endure all this and don't give up and fall into their trap and say, you know what, I'm just tired, I'm going to just do whatever. No. Stay connected to Ahiah. Do everything you did. Prepare. Don't give up. You will be saved. Verse 14.
Matthew 24, chapter 24, verse 14, it says, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
So in Matthew 3 and 24 and 3, the disciples asked Yeshua privately, tell us when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Yeshua told them all of these, and then in verse 14 he says, and this gospel, what gospel? He's talking about the gospel that he taught the disciples, the gospel of this Bible. And when this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all the nations, and then shall the end come. So Yeshua told the disciples, when my gospel is being spoken of and taught throughout the whole world and preached throughout the whole world, then that's when I'm going to come. So that's how you know his true gospel has not hit the whole world yet, the four corners, because he hasn't came yet. The Christian religion has hit the whole world. The Muslim religion has hit the whole world. The Catholic religion, even the Buddha, everybody knows about Buddhism across the whole world. And Yeshua hasn't come, so that lets you know all these religions are false. So if anybody that's following the religion, they try to tell you it's the true gospel, go show them this scripture right here then and say, why hasn't Yeshua came then if the Christian religion is for real? Because the Christian religion is worldwide and he ain't came yet. So why are you following this? He says, when my gospel is being preached throughout the whole world, the four corners, then shall the end come. Last precept of the night, let's go to Ephesians 6 and 15. So I'm giving y'all scriptures to where when you get jammed in the corner and you're talking to friends and family and they believe so tough, you go just hit them. You just go grab a few precepts and let the Spirit work with you, and it just punches them right in the mouth. And some of these precepts are not Mike Tyson punch outs. So it's going to be a TKO to where they're going to close the Bible like, you know what, I'm cool. I'm all right with that. They ain't going to want to go on when you show them certain scriptures. So when you show a Christian this scripture, they going to run, I promise you. Well, you know, what you mean? Well, let's read it again. Do we got to read 1 through 14 again? They don't want to hear it when you start talking like that. So he says, when my gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, not just Israel, all nations. So you have some Israelites out there teaching that we're not supposed to teach other nations. You're only supposed to teach our people. Look, come on, get out of here. Get that racism. All right, you go ahead and get it. Okay, the bot form. All this to the bot for a day to come and ship name. I hope everybody having a opt to walk. Okay. So nice. We'll get to summation. This one will be prepared last day. Nice. We call preparing for the day. And then we'll go. It's just a piggy for days. Let's talk about commitment, making commitment higher. So today talk about preparing for the days. Gills. All right. Have a good instant. Have a lot of on. Don't waste time. We're going to all the time can get through these just to make sense for everybody. And at the end, you should know always offer requests or anything like that. All right. That in mind, just go to verse 10 and 1. So to lesson called preparing for the day gives. We'll leave it. We are in days. Okay. No people don't believe that's true. A lot of people don't believe that's according to see. We are. All right. So last day, prepare ourselves to the flesh as possible, which I know easier said, but if you to the King higher, salvation have to start from your spirit and away from that. Go ahead.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 1. When he's the patience, the heart, and answer tongue is from Most High.
So the first we start tonight, preparation of man and of the from Mahai. That means that a do utmost all planted and rises, and he can sit plan error, but come to if not got his tongue. So if you sit there in time and make sure it is you in that. You sit plans and think and put all into it and I don't even do it. That's nothing. All right. But James 1:16 says that in days are and prepare yourself. Nobody's for a lot believe in America, which we. So if not of them, if you're going to America, you plan, you prep. But it has to do the tongue guidance higher. You say well and do on and it's not bad. You'll never get married. And they get out of there, don't get the first bit. They have to work. James 1:16.
James chapter 1:16. Please do err, ye love. Get every gift from above and come down for the Father of light, whom is variable, either shall turn.
So it's very good and every gift above. And ration is a lot of know how there. People don't know. So that's why together. All right, you go ahead and get it. Like box form. All to the high for a day. Come and ship name. I hope everybody having a eye to walk. Okay. So let's we're going to summation. This one will be preparing last day. It's we call preparing for the days. And the road will go just to piggyback for this. Let's talk about making commitment higher. So today we'll talk about preparing for the days. Get those ready. All right. Have a good instant. Have a lot of on. Don't waste time. We're going to all the time get through these to make sure it sense everybody. And at the end, you know ways over requests or anything like that. All right. That in mind and get started. Go to verse 1. So to lesson we'll call